everyone, it's Kibro here today to do a video on rabbit spays, neuters, surgeries. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to prepare your rabbit for a spay and neuter, how much it costs, at least for me in personal experience, and just some tips when finding the right vet to do a surgery on your furry friend. So the reason why I feel comfortable talking about this, just so you don't think that I'm just hullabaloo talking about this without any experience. I have had a guinea pig need to be neutered, a guinea pig need to be dental done, a rabbit be spayed, and now a rabbit be neutered. So Finn was neutered, and rabbits and guinea pigs are pretty much the exact same with how they get ready for surgery, so that's the reason why I kind of lump those two together. I don't know about other exotics, so for example, mice, hamsters, anything else. I've never really had to take those guys to the vet to have a surgery done, so yeah, to be clear, I'm specifically talking about bunnies though. So guys, let's jump right into it. Finn was actually neutered today, which I will be like throwing in a little vlog, kind of how he's doing and everything. Right now he's doing great. If you hear background noise, my cat's behind me. Finn is actually out right now, and I'll be discussing that in a little bit. Let's jump right into it. The first thing you need to do is find a vet you feel comfortable with. So you have to find a vet that you feel confident that they will take care of your bunny to the best of their ability and go above and beyond to make sure they are happy and healthy. So my recommendation is 1, research different clinics around you. Email clinics, message clinics, call clinics, go into clinics, although right now you can't really, but ask them, do you see exotics? And if it's a dog and cat vet and they say yes, but they're not an exotic vet, maybe don't go there. Just gonna put that out there. You should probably go to a exotic vet. Now, an exotic vet can still see dogs and cats, but they'll make it known that they also see scaly to furry to everything in between, you know? So keep that in mind. Then I would highly recommend having a checkup done for your pet with that vet to see how they work, what their personality's like, getting used to them, seeing if you get a good vibe from them, trusting them. I know that checkups cost money, but your bunny butt's probably going to need a checkup anyways before surgery. At least mine did. Mine ended up having to do 2. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, because personally whenever I was researching, I was initially going to go with one vet, but they were so expensive that I was just curious to see if there were other good vets in the area that would do it for cheaper, which, keep in mind, I know everyone says money shouldn't matter, but money does matter whenever it comes down to it. It's the reality of life. Pets are expensive. It's a thing. You really want to make sure you go with someone that will really care for your animal and understand that rabbits are sensitive to anesthesia. You know, you just want someone who is good at what they do. Just make sure you get a good vet. Next, I would say ask for an estimation. They should probably give you an estimate. If they don't, ask them for one, although every vet I've been to always does. And I thought I would go over mine. Overall, mine was $295. It varies with each vet. I had some comments saying that at their vet it was only like, I don't know, I think they said like 60 pounds. Yeah, some people are able to get it done for a lot cheaper. I know that there was an area like an hour from me that does it for like $175, but it depends, you know, it really depends. Honestly, oftentimes exotic vets are just gonna be more expensive because they're not considered dogs and cats. I thought I would go over my bill with you guys and just discuss just some of the things they do, because this has been the same for pretty much each of mine. Now, I've always gone to the same vet, so it could vary, but I feel like this will give you guys a pretty good idea. Okay, I'm just gonna voice over this part because I looked back at like my recording and I did terrible. So first of all, my veterinary office personally offers a courtesy nail trim whenever the animals are under surgery. So Finn got his nails cut for free. Awesome. And then pretty much every exotic vet will send home critical care unless you request that they don't, because you already have some. But it's always good to have extra, so that cost me $13.72. And then they should send home some kind of pain relief or antibiotic, which they sent home Metacam/Meloxicam, which cost $18.55. And then they did give Finn an injectable of Metacam and Meloxicam, which cost $28. And oftentimes veterinary offices will give some sort of injectable in the clinic, whether that be an antibiotic or an anti-inflammatory, which Metacam is an anti-inflammatory. And then they did not give him subcutaneous fluids, but if your animal does not do well after surgery or is struggling, they will give them subcutaneous fluids. So keep that in mind, that can possibly happen if your little guy or girl is struggling and isn't eating and is dehydrated. And then we get down to the simple dental. Now, Finn did also need to have a dental done because he did have a little bit of overgrowth. So it's a lot easier to do 2 surgeries at once rather than doing 2 separate, especially on exotic animals. So he got his simple dental done, which cost $55.44. And then his castration, which is $168, which, in case you don't know what castration is, that is the neuter, aka his reproductive system has been compromised. So yeah, and then here it just shows what all is included in his castration, which is kind of really cool for them to include. That way you know what you got throughout that surgery. And as you can see, it does say that the recheck is included, which is in 7 to 10 days. Now, you should get a recheck for your animal. So yeah, that's just something to consider. Oftentimes it is free. It would be kind of odd for a vet to charge for that, I think. But anyways, next, the rest is just kind of the stuff that I could have been charged with but wasn't. The bill today to get Finn neutered was $275.53, which I know is a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, like, he's gonna live 10 years. He's not gonna pee anymore, hopefully. It really isn't that much. Now, if we were getting up to $400, $500, that would have been a little much. That would have been a little much, I'll be honest, but we did pretty good. And then the things they sent me home with was, of course, this, critical care, and then my medication, which your vet should always send you home with a labeled medication with instructions on how to do it, and then your medicine and a syringe, of course. Of course. So now let's move on as to how to get your pet ready the night before. Now that you have an understanding as to how it's gonna go and everything, how to get your rabbit ready the night before is do not restrict them of food or water. If your exotic vet tells you to restrict a rabbit of food and water the night before, as they do with cats and dogs, do not go to that vet to have your animal be neutered or spayed. Rabbits need to keep their digestive tract going or else they'll go into GI stasis and they may die. So you cannot restrict food and water for these guys. They have to have constant bowel movement. So keep that in mind. Do not restrict food and water. I know. I'm just going to say it a bunch because, you know, with most animals in surgery, dogs and cats, they say restrict food and water. And you're like, oh yeah, of course. I'll be honest. The first time I ever had to get a surgery with my guinea pig, I wasn't really thinking, oh, I'll restrict food and water that night. But whenever they specifically told me not to, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So keep that in mind. Next, you want to get a carrier ready. One thing I always do is I always pack hay. I always make sure to put hay in the carrier or pack a baggie of hay and maybe some veggies. Pack some things. Your vet should have high quality pellets there. Just keep that in mind. I normally do pack hay because an exotic vet isn't going to have a 50-pound box of hay waiting around for their rabbits. You know, so I always just make sure to put some in there. And then on top of that, make sure you label your carrier and you can just take your bunny to the vet for drop-off. You'll probably have to sign some paperwork. I don't know, it depends on each vet if you'll have to do a deposit ahead of time. At my vet, I pay at the end. And then, you know, you go about your day. Your vet will sometimes then call throughout the day. So, for example, they may call before surgery, they may call during surgery to just in case they need something, and then afterwards say that he's done and then discuss pickup. So that is something to consider, is that you will want to be able to get on your phone during that day and be able to answer, and, you know, because who knows, during surgery something could go wrong. Let's be honest, something can sadly go wrong. And on top of that, they could find something. So for example, Mr. Finn also needed a dental. So who knows if they found a tooth that they would have to remove during his simple dental. Those are just some things to keep in mind whenever it comes to these guys. Pickup is pretty simple. You go and get them, you pay, you take the bunny home. Now, with bringing your rabbit home, you want to be very gentle with them. I did not pick up Finn. I'd never really picked them up. I just kind of let them relax. Clean your cage. You really want it to be clean for their incision and stuff. Make sure they have fresh food and water available. Your bunny may be sore, so I would recommend getting a lower litter box. At least that's what I've noticed with Nina, who was my past bunny, and Finn. They're very sore, so hopping up into the litter box can be a little bit difficult, so giving them that option to just go in encourages them to eat more. Now, one thing I do on days where there is surgery afterwards, I do offer them more pellets than I normally would, just because I'm encouraging them to eat, because we want to keep that digestive tract going. Now, you do want to really be monitoring them and making sure their poops look normal. You may have to use critical care. I know that I am. I'm filming this like the night of. I'll just be using critical care just to make sure he's eating and he's going, even though I can clearly see that he's eating, just to give him a little extra boost. But if your bunny is having normal poops and you are seeing him eat, and then you go to get him to give him critical care and he starts getting incredibly stressed out, leave him be. Leave him be. Do not, bunnies are so bad with stress. Just want to give him a break. Let him chillax. He's had a very stressful, long day. Let him breathe. Other than that, you just need to follow your medications. And oftentimes vets will then do a recheck in about 2 weeks, sometimes 7 to 10 days. That's always a good thing to go to. What else? I would really recommend just talking to your vet. That's one thing I've always struggled with, because I'll get there to pick up my animal and like the tech will bring them out, or like the tech will just give me my bunny or my guinea pig, and then I have questions, but I'm so like, from like being in the vet's office and having to pay and having to do this and talking to people, that I forget all my questions. But really try to like ask to see the vet, or like ask them if there's anything specific you have to do when you get home, just to keep that in mind, because sometimes I think vets forget that kind of stuff, because to be honest, I've gone to the vet so many times and sometimes they won't tell me how to do certain things, or like when to do certain things, and I'm like, wait a minute, when am I supposed to do this? Did they already give him the medication or didn't they? You know, it's a very confusing moment. So, you know, just make sure you understand fully what you're supposed to do when you get home. Each vet may vary. My vet told me to keep Annie and Finnick separated for 2 weeks. I'm not gonna do that, I'll be honest. I'm not. I'm just not. Bunnies are very finicky with their bonds, and they really should not be separated. They can be caged next to each other, but honestly, I'm seeing how they do tonight together, and if I notice that she's stressing him out or picking at him, which she's not, she's sleeping literally 3 feet from him, not bothering him, I'm just gonna let them be together, because I do not. Finn is like this with Annie. They're the best of buds, and I feel like separating them would just stress him out even more. Now, if you got your bunny neutered and you have an unspayed female and you want to try to bond them, you have to wait 2 weeks, because he can still get her pregnant. And also, you need to let your bunny heal and relax before you try to bond them, because hormones will still be crazy. You need the hormones to level out. Just some things to consider. I really hope those tips were useful. Yeah, so Finn did great in surgery. It's quite stressful. Let's get into the little vlog. So guys, this is what it is like doing curbside at a veterinary office. You sit outside in your car, you look over your shoulder every 5 seconds, and you wait for your animal to come out so you can pay, and it's very nerve-wracking. My phone wasn't working, so I couldn't call, so I had to get a worker who was coming outside to deal with another client because my phone won't work, which is great. You know, it just adds on to the whole thing of needing to do curbside. So yeah, guys, I'm waiting out here for Finn. Apparently he did great. I was not able to get in contact with them because of my phone all day, so my dad was the one who had to answer phone calls on his end and stuff. So that's wonderful, fantastic. So yeah, guys. Got home, completely cleaned the cage because I didn't have time to clean it this morning because I had to go to work at 7:30. There's still hay over there, but they don't have access to it. After vacuuming it and cleaning the litter box, we have Finn in here. I'm gonna let him come out on his own just because I know he's like sore and stuff, and I just want to see how he feels. But I'm not gonna like rip him out of the carrier. I just won't. He's already very skittish. In case you guys don't know, Finn is a very shy bun. I can't pet him. And holding him is always a hassle, but I can hold him. I just have to hold him firmly. So we have him in here. My vet did tell me to separate them for 2 weeks, but the fact that Annie is spayed and bunnies' bonds are very fragile in a lot of cases, especially after surgery, I do not feel comfortable separating them. Now, as I'm observing them, and okay guys, but if as I'm observing them I notice like Annie is like chewing at his stomach or he's chewing at his stomach, then I will separate and build a temporary cage for one of them. His little fur looks all rough. He's shaking it off. Annie's coming to just say, dude, where did you go? I love you. And you left me. She's like, dude, you smell weird. Yeah, he's mad. He's flicking his feet like, how dare you take me from my home and get rid of my balls. So yeah, guys, we're just gonna monitor them for a while. Hopefully. Hi, sweetie. Hi, are you feeling okay? Oh, I hate having to get little guys surgery. It stresses me out. Alright guys, it's a few hours later. I set up this little litter box for Mr. Finney. There are some poops in here. Assuming these one, I'm just gonna touch it. I know, gross. Assuming this one's his. It's kind of small. He's not going in here too much. So yeah, my vet said to separate them for 2 weeks, but I legit can't. I just don't see the point in that. I ended up asking a Facebook group, and the Facebook group ended up saying don't separate them. And some people said separate them for a couple days, separate them for this, but honestly, like, I highly doubt Annie will do anything. She's never really been the one to bug him. She only bugs him whenever she wants groomed. And then that's still barely ever, you know? They're getting along fine, and I think just having her around is already helping him because he would not come out of the carrier until I moved it, and then she came over, and then he finally came out. So in general, I mean, I just don't think it's a good idea to separate bunnies. I just don't. They, like, are so inseparable, especially Finn. I can't pet him, so he gets all of his love and affection from Annie, and I don't feel comfortable. I know they would only be in, like, a cage separation, but I just have a very bad feeling that he would try to jump out, or Annie would try to bust him out, and it would be a whole thing, and then he would be in more danger. So, you know, that's a thing. I am going to be monitoring them for the night and putting them in here in their cage overnight. Finn hasn't really been running around too much. He's just been hopping, I guess. I don't know. Bunnies don't really walk. I was going to say strolling, but bunnies don't stroll. So there's that. He's doing pretty good, though. He's doing fine. Looks a little rough. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. He does look a little rough. His fur is all gross. He's pretty like, Mom, I hate you. He would not take a treat from me, which was like, oh my god. It was actually just a digestive support tablet. He was like, not today, Satan. I was like, okay. So, the goal is, before bed, I'll probably switch these two out. Although he can jump in it, I know that he is sore, so I don't really want to risk it. What else? I feel like there's something else I was gonna say. I will probably end up giving him critical care later just to make sure he's eaten. He looks like he is, but I just really want to make sure he is. Annie probably ate most of the pellets, although I did see him sniffing around at them. I just really want to encourage eating for him. I really do not want him to go into GI stasis or anything. That's my main concern. I really doubt he's going to have any issues. Nina was 5 whenever she was spayed, and spays are always a little bit more invasive, and she was fine like by the next day. Alright guys, so here's an update on Mr. Finn. He's been doing fantastic since his neuter. It's been, how many days? It's been about 5 days since his neuter. I ended up not separating him and Annie and not limiting his exercise at all, simply because I wanted to see how he did, and he hasn't had any problems. No bleeding, his surgery area looks great. He's been very active, but not to the point of hurting himself. He definitely has not been running around like crazy. Him and Annie have been doing great. Already he is having a lot less accidents outside of the cage with peeing, which has been fantastic. So no spraying on that cupboard over there. Overall, he's doing great. He hates his antibiotics, even though I've been giving them to him. Pretty sure they're antibiotics. They're either antibiotics or pain relief. I always mix up the two medications. He only has one, though, so it is the prescribed one, don't worry. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But other than that, again, he's been doing fantastic. Yeah, I think he's already on the way to being really well litter trained. Like, look over here, no poops. I mean, there are a few, of course, but literally not that many as there were leading up to his neuter. Dude, there's more over here. He definitely is not happy with me because I've been having to pick him up to give him his antibiotics because he just will not take them. His fur looks a lot better. He's groomed himself down. And again, I'm very happy with the fact that he's doing well and he's thriving already. I don't know if I'll be able to take him to his recheck because my vet, I have to get a new exotic vet, and I'm pretty sure I already have one lined up. They simply are overbooked. They only have one veterinarian. They just seem to rush, and I really just want someone who I can talk to and really get some advice on my animals. So I will be starting to take them to a different veterinarian for at least checkups. Okay guys, I thought I would give you an update on Finn. His neuter has been done for about 10 days now, so it's been about 10 days since Mr. Finny Finn was neutered, and he is doing absolutely fantastic, guys. He is completely recovered, his incision site looks fantastic, he is finished with his anti-inflammatories, he's no longer sore, his fur looks great. He's active. We are not having any accidents anymore. Like, they're pretty much almost completely litter box trained, and I don't have to vacuum their cage now every day. So those are just some things I thought I'd update you guys on. I know it's like you guys aren't really seeing him, but it's just Finn being Finn, so it's nothing big. So anyways, I just thought I'd give you one last final update. I hope you guys enjoy. If you did, like, subscribe. If you didn't, then goodbye.